So the Nathaniel Hackett-Russell Wilson drama in Denver is a very real thing. But it is interesting. As I watch Sean McDermott when he first arrived in Buffalo, Sean McVay when he first arrived in L.A., Lincoln Riley when he first arrived in USC, Saban when he first arrived in Alabama, Belichick when he first arrived in New England. Coaches usually clean up and or master their side of the ball very quickly. Lincoln Riley has fixed USC's offense in 6 months. McVay did it in 6 months. If you look at McDermott and Belichick, they got the Bills and the Patriots defenses right. It took a while to find Brady. In Cleveland, it was the defense that led them. They couldn't figure out the quarterback. But what's troubling about Denver is Nathaniel Hackett's an offensive guy, and it's the defense that's the strength of the Broncos. The offense is the shit show. So I was saying on FS1 yesterday, if you had a restaurant, you love the bar, you love the ambiance, you love the staff, and you love the location, but you didn't love your food, and you brought in a chef and the food got worse, you'd be like, I whiffed on the chef. Everything else in the restaurant's good. What's troubling about Denver and Hackett, he should be able to button up the offense quickly. That's his side of the ball. And then you hear Aaron Rodgers saying, oh, I love Nathaniel Hackett. He was my drinking buddy and we played darts and he made me laugh. Excuse me? That's not what I'm looking for. So I think the troubling part is the offense is in total disarray. And he's been there for like 4 months. I mean, timeouts, burning them, situational, disaster. They can't figure out their play calling on third down. They got the wrong personnel in. That is a huge concern because great offensive coaches, they don't have to win big. But Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, what have you noticed 2 games in? They've got the offense figured out. Doug Peterson, former NFL quarterback, he got Nick Foles to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying Doug Peterson's a great coach, but wherever he goes, Kansas City, Philadelphia, Jacksonville, he gets the offense figured out. Hackett's an offensive guy. It's the most disorganized offense with good personnel in the league. That's a huge problem, a huge red flag. You know, I was thinking about something as I looked at some of the teams struggling offensively in the NFL. Tennessee, Indianapolis, Chicago. And I was thinking to myself, there's 32 teams in the NFL. Like, there are certain either coastal or glamour franchises. LA, Miami, San Francisco, Vegas, New York, Philadelphia, Seattle. They're sort of coastal or in some instances like Vegas, they're glamour cities. Have you noticed how good the wide receiver play is in those leagues and the weapons are in those leagues? And the teams that are still driven by a running back, Green Bay, Cleveland, Indianapolis, Tennessee, Chicago, are often Midwest cities. I don't know this to be true, but it's just something that was banging around in my head, is that the Midwest part of the country is obviously less glamorous, but it's more conservative. They vote conservative. They live more conservatively. It's more about tradition. Coastal cities are, let's be honest, most of the coastal cities I've lived in, your Miamis, your LA, your San Francisco, New York, only about half the people that live there are from there. And I think young athletes are more prone, NBA, NFL. There are cities they want to live in. Look at the Dodgers' ability, the Yankees' ability. Players like to live when they're young in the coastal cities and the glamour cities. There's just more to do. And I was thinking to myself, as the NFL in the last 5 years, wide receivers have become significantly more valuable. Look at outside of Kansas City, which is Andy Reid, who's been the great offensive innovator post Bill Walsh in the NFL for 20, 25 years. So take him out of it. Are Midwestern teams struggling and adapting with building rosters in 2022? Chicago, first 2 picks, a corner and a safety. O-line's a mess. Receiving core's a mess. They have a new quarterback. Their sensibility? Defense, running the ball. Green Bay. Let Devontae Adams go. What do they want to win with this year? defense and a running game. Indianapolis, what's their weakness? Outside of Michael Pittman, they have no receivers. Running and defense. Cleveland, got a great running back. Myles Garrett in that pass rush. Where are they thinnest? Weapons, wide receiver. Tennessee, A.J. Brown goes. Running and defense with Vrabel. I'm just throwing it out there. The coastal cities are more glamorous. They attract more star receivers. And they're more prone and willing. They have a lot of young GMs on a lot of these coastal cities. And they're more aggressive. They're more willing to take big swings. It's a less conservative place to live, be in business or life. And I mean, like Tom Brady was going to choose Miami, the Chargers, or Tampa. Now you say, well, Tampa is not a big, well, it's on the coast. Weapons. Miami, weapons. Philadelphia, weapons. Rams, weapons. Chargers, weapons. Niners, weapons. Seahawks, weapons. I count, Vegas in, and Arizona for the record, though not a coastal city, it's a West Coast city. And it's just interesting. I look around at some of these GMs who I like. The Midwest, 4 or 5 of the worst receiving corps in the league. Right now, the thinnest, they're all in the same geographical footprint. Cleveland, Green Bay, Indianapolis, Tennessee. By the way, Dallas, which is a glamorous city. So I don't really classify them, but Jerry Jones, as he's aged, it's pass rush, it's run game, Zeke will be leading us. I know it's weird, and there are exceptions, but it is kind of, I'm kind of fascinated by the league right now in the last 4 to 5 years has made this massive pivot to offense and wide receivers and big trades. Is it possible the glamour cities and the coastal cities are more prepared for it? Could be wrong. Stuff to think about.